Hey team, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to begin looking into the select statement. These first four commands, of actually many, will give you the confidence to discover data in any SQL database. While I labeled this video as Lesson 1, I actually call this Data Discovery Mode. From beginner to the most seasoned SQL developer, these four statements are probably the most used when viewing data for the first time. Let's look at select star. Hey team, so now we're going to look at the first and most popular SQL statement, the select star from a table name. But what are tables? Where are they defined? So notice here that we're in Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. I've opened up Object Explorer, that's under this View, Object Explorer. And then here's a list of tables. And these tables are available for us to go query and see the data inside of them. Now what's great about this command is we can go see any one of these tables. So after I teach you the first table, you should be able to do it thereafter. But in this example, we're going to do like 5 tables so you can see this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on AdventureWorks, right click and say New Query. Now my first table I'd like to use is this Human Resources Department. So what you say is you say select star from Human Resources.Department. Then you highlight that statement and then you hit the Execute button. And notice immediately it goes out to the database and queries all the data. But star represents the columns. Notice that this table, department, has 4 columns. If I come over here and dive into the Object Explorer, we can see columns. There are 4 columns, and that is what I've retrieved out here. So star just represents all the columns. Now if we want to look at another SQL statement to, see if the same statement works across the board, let's go look at, how about address type, person.address type. Select star from person.address type. And notice 1, 2, 3, 4 address type. Notice, there you go. So you're starting to see a pattern here. Select star represents all the columns, and that's all there is to this. How about we do person, person. And then I'll highlight that. Then notice this one right here actually returned me a lot of data. A lot of data and a lot of columns. So the star represents all of these columns. All of the columns were returned to us. How about we do another one from another schema? How about we scroll down and then we see these productions? How about we do production location? Production location. Then highlight, execute, and notice that returned us 14 rows. Once again, the star represents all the columns. Let's look at location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 columns. Each one of these are called rows. And together we would call this a data set. And our last one that we'll look at, how about we do sales currency? Notice that this has 3 columns. So how would we do that? We would say from sales.currency, highlight it, hit the select, and notice we are done. And there you have it for the select star command. So team, select star is now in the bank. Remember, you can use that command on any table to display the contents. Now, select star is an awesome command. However, it does have its pitfalls. Some tables have a lot of data, and we just learned select star from table will return all that data. Can you imagine returning 1 million rows? Remember, the goal of data discovery is for you to kind of understand the data so you can see how it is stored. You don't need 1 million rows to figure that out. This next command, select top n, is a fix to that problem. Let's see how that works. Hey team, let's look at what we just learned. New query, and we learned select star from human resources departments. We also know that there were 16 rows to that table. That is not a problem. Getting back 16 rows is not a load on the server. But on our next table that we're going to do, address, it's a big deal. But how do we know how many rows are in a table without having to know SQL? Well, you can come up to the menu bar and say View, Object Explorer Details, Tables, and notice it tells me the number of rows that are in the system. Now remember, the goal of data discovery is to kind of understand what the data looks like in each of these tables. We certainly don't need 19,000, 20,000. In fact, to be honest with you, do we need 2,000 rows to understand what the data looks like? I don't think so. This next command fixes that problem. So when we say select star, remember that gets it all. But what we can add is select top 10. And that will only get me back 10 rows. There is no burden on the system. This is a great command. This is a fix to select star. Now, select star is awesome, and normally that's where people start, but it's dangerous. You just heard me tell you, if there's a million rows, you could put some other person that's on the same system in a wait mode, and you don't want to be that person. You want to be the smarter person. Select top 10. And then when you look at the data and you say, oh, I'd like to see a little bit more data. I didn't really understand what they're trying to do here. Then you're like, oh, look, there's only a total of 16 rows in this table. This is it. Okay, look at that. They did some grouping. All right, I see it. Okay, excellent. I understand human resources department. Okay, excellent. Now, what was that next table we looked at? It was called person.address type. Now, let's do 20 again. But look at that. There's only 6 rows. And look at that, it tells me billing, home, primary, active. Hey, I understand this table. This would be like some kind of lookup table, a foreign key and such. So I got that, that's kind of easy. All right, excellent. Now how about this person.person? Now you remember when I did that view, Object Explorer Details, this table had like 20,000 rows in it. Let's see if I can understand what this table looks like with just 20. Okay, so there's some kind of ID, a person's first name, last name. Okay, I pretty much got this. This is like personal data. There's some kind of ID and then their name. Okay, I got it. I don't need 19,000 rows. Like for instance, do I really need to come out here and say select star from person? And look at that, just row after row after row. I do not need this. In fact, to be honest with you, you're not going to go through line by line and look at this. This is ridiculous. Select top some number from that. That is the goal of data discovery. Now you understand it and you're like, hey, person, yes, that's where customers are stored. Okay, how about production.location? And we'll do 10. And look at that, they're just storage locations. There's some kind of ID, a storage location, cost, and availability. Okay, I got this. I don't need, if there's a million rows in there, I don't need a million rows. I got it with 10. Okay, and how about sales.currency? And I'll do 10 on those as well. And once again, I understand it. There's a 3-digit code for each currency. And that's it. So select star has been fixed by top n. Give me a number, star. In our last 2 commands, we we're able to see the actual data. This is now kind of like an aggregation function. It's going to count the number of rows that we're about to see. Let's dive in and learn about select count. In our previous lessons, we learned about select star, actually going out and getting all the data. Notice we have 16 rows. We learned that we could say select top 10, and that also returns us data. This next command, select count, is going to actually sum up stuff for us. So let's do our first command. We can say select count star, that means like all the data, and give me the count. Now notice that it tells me no column name, and we don't want to do that. We're better than that. What we can actually do is turn this into an alias, so it would be num of departments. And the word as is optional. So this right here went out and counted the rows of this table. Now the next thing we're going to be looking at are distinct items. Now when we went up and we said select star from human resources departments, notice that name, it kind of already looks unique. But you'll notice that group name, oh look at that, research, 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 sales marketing. There's dupes in here. So this is going to be perfect. So on our select distinct names, this should return us 16. And of course we can use an alias so it doesn't say as. Execute that, and now num of departments. But now let's go back and look up that select star from that table again. Notice that group name, we've got dupes. Wouldn't it be nice to know how many unique departments or group names they have? How do you think we would do that? That's right, we just replace this name with group name. Very good. And then let's execute that. Ooh, notice that there's only 6 unique group names. Now that's pretty amazing. Notice that these aren't sorted. And remember, this lesson is only about the select and from. There's a lot more parts of the select command, but we're going to get them in another lesson. This is just your introductory to SQL. And these commands that I'm teaching you can be used everywhere. So select count, select star, select distinct, a column name. You now have the skills to go figure out how much data we have. Okay team, last part. In this one we're going to learn about selecting the distinct rows of a table. Hey team, we're looking at the last part of this video collection, Introduction to the Select Statement. In lesson 1 we learned select star, and we were able to go out there and see the data. Now, our last one, we want to actually start getting the data, but distinctly. I want to know what these were distinctly, because it looks like some of them are, see how it says general, and then I have one down here and here. So I kind of like want to put them in order. So how can we do that? Well, the first thing is, remember in the previous lesson, we were able to say, get the count and how many group names there were. Notice that there were 6. Now, this next thing that we're learning is distinct, and it goes like this: select distinct group name from your department. And there you have it. That is such an awesome command. In fact, let's look at all that data again, and it kind of works on every data type. So for instance, see this modified date? Well, with our eyeballs, we can see that they're all the same date, but let's confirm that. Select distinct modified date from that table. Nice. How about name? Distinct name. Well, they all look unique, don't they? I think we're going to get all 16 of them. And there you have it. And there you have it, team. Lesson 1 is now in the bank. You know 4 commands that can display any kind of data in any table. Congratulations. In the next video, lesson 2, we're going to use more parts of the select command with these same commands. And then you'll know as much as I do about this.